Hey, Jesus Christ! Want a cold one? I don't know, will I need one this time? Nah, this one's all right actually. Well, that's a relief. So let me ask you this, if you were the most wanted wizard in the world and you'd been forced to hide in the woods for a year and had to dig a hole just to take a shit, what would you do? I don't know if they were forced, but I can see you building to something here, so go on. Well, if you're Hazza, you just thirst after Voldemort's junk for 2 hours and you go on a quest to find it. His junk. You mean Horcruxes, right? Yeah, of course. What did you think I meant? You somehow always make it sound like you're talking about cocks or something else disgusting, you know? I don't know what you're talking about. So anyways, prepare yourself for the finale. Hazza Potto and the lady who likes to swallow. Part 2. That is not the name of the movie. Oh, yeah, sorry, that was actually the name of another movie I watched last night. Can we just get on with the real movie recap, please? So the movie starts with Voldemort leukemia standing in the dark, stroking his little wand. Hey, you're doing it again. Sorry, couldn't resist. Anyways, he's stoked, isn't he? Because this isn't just any wand. It's the bloody Elder Wand. An unbeatable wand that's kind of like the Chuck Norris of wands. Sounds pretty powerful. Exactly. And you know, if you've got Walker Texas Ranger on your side, you're always going to be safe. Well, unless you're that one kid.
Walker told me I have AIDS.
Yeah, that was a really weird episode. Anyways, then Voldemort raises his tiny wand into the sky and shoots out a big stream of electric jizz. So they're basically using the exact same footage that we ended the last film on. Oh yeah, it's super lazy. Anyways, after that, we get a shot of what Hoggies looks like now after the fallout of Dumbledore's death. Because get this, bloody Snape's only the headmaster now, isn't he? I bet things really have taken a turn for the worse then. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of what they want you to think, but the way they visually portray it is to have the school surrounded by those Dementard things, which is something that Dumbledore himself allowed in the 3rd film, so things really aren't that different, are they? Yeah, that's true. And it's Dementors, not Dementards. Oh yeah, that's right. I guess the only Dementard here is you. Hey! Anyways, the school is a little bit different because old mate Snape, he's standing at a window watching all the kids goose step into school like it's bloody 1940s Germany or something. J.K. Rowling is really leaning into the whole Voldemort being Hitler thing now, isn't she? Yeah, she sure is, mate. But what's even weirder is that Snape's standing at a window that has no handrail at all, despite being about 40 stories high. Well, that just feels like an OH&S nightmare. Oh, I know, mate, but I think that's the least of their worries at Hoggies, if I'm honest. The whole school would get bloody closed down if a safety worker even took a glance at that place. Yeah, you're not wrong, mate. Anyways, we finally get the title of the film, Hazza Potto and the Deathly Hallows Part 2, which honestly feels like a bit of wasted screen time. We already know what movie we paid to see, right? Yeah, that's true. Why do movies always have the titles of the film so early? Is it in case you walked into the wrong cinema or something? But my grandma got 2/3 of the way into American Pie before she realised that it wasn't Schindler's List. Really? Anyways, then we cut to Dobby's grave, which reads, "Here lies Dobby. Bury me with my fleshlight and some rubber gloves, so I can die the way I lived." Gross. It doesn't say that. Nah, but it's heavily implied. Because Hazza's holding a fleshlight the whole scene, so I think the dirty bastard has decided to just keep it for himself. Anyways, then we cut to inside, where Hermo, Rono, Lunaro are talking to General Hux and his hot wife Fleur Delacour. Why does it even matter that she's hot? Well, it doesn't, but Bill is kind of grasping onto her really tightly the whole scene. You know, like one of those muscly guys who can barely move their neck because they've taken way too many steroids, and they hold on to their girlfriend like someone's going to jump out of a bush and take them away. You know, because they're paranoid because they've taken steroids for so long and their penis looks like an M&M mini. That is so specific. Anyways, then old mate General Hux is like, "It's beautiful here. It was our aunt's place. We used to come here as kids." Oh, he said come. Oh, shut up, Ron. Yes. Anyways, the Order uses it now as a safe house. What's left of us, at least. Did I mention that Fleur and I have banged on that bed right over there? Or will you stop it with this, Bill? No one bloody believes you. Let me get this straight. The Weasleys are using another one of their family homes as a safe house. Yeah, mate. I mean, at this rate, the Death Eaters could dismantle the whole Order of the Phoenix with a phone book or a quick Google search. Was this another one of Mad Eye Moody's plans? Because I'm about to lose it! Mate, calm down. Remember your blood pressure. No, you're right. Thanks. So then Luna starts banging on with one of her QAnon theories, doesn't she? She says that Muggles used to hang these things up in their houses to keep evil away, but she reckons they're wrong. She reckons that they were actually hung up in the cockpits of the planes that they used to smash into the 2 towers by those Al-Qaeda members. Okay, well, why the hell would they hang those up? No idea, but makes about as much sense as smashing a plane into a building filled with civilians to get yourself a 12-pack of virgins in the afterlife or something. Yeah, true, there's much easier ways to find a virgin. Just look on Reddit. Anyways, Hazza comes in and he says Luna is full of shit and then he's like, I need to talk to the goblin, which honestly feels a bit off because he hasn't even bothered to learn his name and he's only identifying him by his race. Yeah, it kind of sounds like someone saying, I need to talk to that Asian guy who keeps spitting everywhere. Exactly, except now you've played into the whole spitting stereotype, so now you're the racist. You're right. Anyways, then Hazza, Hermo and Ronno go in to see old mate Goblin, and then Hazza engages in some terrible small talk with him. You know, the kind you're forced to engage in when you go to parties and you see those people that you casually know, and both of you are kind of reaching for the most surface level cliche conversation starters, even though you both know that it's actually torturing you both, but you still just kind of do it anyways for some reason. Mate, we already know you hate parties, alright? Can you just tell us what they say? Alright, mate. So Hazza, he's like, hello, how's things at work? How's the family? And then Goblin's like, is that really the best you could come up with? I'd prefer to stare at this wall in silence. He's right, Harry, that was bloody awful, mate. Oh, off, Ron. Go masturbate into an ice cream tub again. We all saw you last night. Oh! So, anyways, Griphook, you might not remember me, but
I was the one that served you the first time you came into Gringotts Bank. Even in the goblin world, you're famous, Harry Potter.
Which honestly makes no sense at all, because sometimes Hazza can walk through crowds completely unnoticed, and other times everyone stops to shake his bloody hand. They really kind of bailed on that idea after the first film, didn't they? So get this right, Griphook, that's the name of the goblin apparently, he wants to know how they came to be in the possession of Godric Gryffindor's sword. And then Hazza says that they want it and that they totally didn't steal it, which is exactly what someone who stole something would say. Yeah, that's true, that is exactly what they'd say. Anyways, then Griphook tells them about the sword that Bellatrix Lestrange was banging on about in the last film. He says that the one in her vault, it's a bloody fake. Really? How can he tell? Well, the sword's goblin made, isn't it? And Griphook, he used to work at cash converters in Sunshine for 5 years, so he can spot a fake from a mile away. Interesting. Also, what kind of name is Griphook? Well, apparently he got his name because he grabbed onto some guy's cock so hard that the only way they could get him to let go of it was to pry his fingers loose with a hook. That's not true at all, is it? Nah, but it's heavily implied. Anyways, this is where things get very interesting. He says that the fake was put in Bellatrix's vault by a teacher from Hoggies. That is interesting. Why would a teacher from Hogwarts want to pull a fast one on Bellatrix? Especially now that it's under control of the Death Eaters. Well, you'll never believe who it was. We only ever see like 2 teachers at Hogwarts, so I'm assuming it was either Snape or McGonagall. Yeah, no, you're right, it was Snape. But why would Snape-o do that? Well, that's a bloody mystery to keep the viewers hooked for retention, isn't it? Apparently the scriptwriters consulted Mr. Beast on how not to bore the out of people because people were so upset that they literally did nothing in the last film. Yeah, but Mr. Beast only has like 2 tricks. He yells every line he says, and he cuts so fast that he gives his audience a seizure, so they're forced to sit there at the computer while they're trying not to swallow their tongues, which I only assume increases his watch time. Yep, that's 100% true. Anyways, get this. Hazza thinks that Bellatrix was worried about her vault being broken into because old mate Voldy has actually hidden a Horcrux in there. Okay, well this film is already way more interesting than the last one. You got that right, mate. So Hazza asks Griphook if he'll help them get into her vault. But he isn't having it, is he, mate? He wants something in return. It's not Hermione's virginity, is it? What the fuck? No, I don't know, the whole Epstein fiasco has me seeing bloody pedos everywhere. You need to get off bloody YouTube and go touch grass, mate. Yeah, I think you're right. Anyways, Griphook, he only wants the bloody sword, doesn't he? Otherwise, he says that Hazza can go piss off and sit on a greasy fat one. Gross. So then Hazza, Hermo and Ronno go to discuss whether or not they should give up the sword, because currently this is the only weapon that they have that can destroy Horcruxes. Yeah, that's true. So what do? Well, they only bloody give it to him, don't they? Idiots. So next they walk into Ollivander's room, and let me tell you, he has the expression on his face of a guy who's just been busted watching Brazzers on his phone. Yeah, he does look a little bit surprised and guilty. Anyways, Hazza shows him the 2 wands they stole at Malfoy Manor, and they try to get him to identify them, because apparently this guy can remember every wand he's ever bloody sold. That sounds unlikely, so he holds them up and he identifies the first one as the wand of Bellatrix Lestrange. Oh snap, maybe he actually can remember. Nah, he can't, because you can see he's actually holding his phone in his other hand, and if you look really closely, you can see in his browser history he was just on the website MILFs Like It Big by the Brazzers Network. That dirty old bastard. I know, right? Anyways, he says that the other wand is none other than Draco Malfoy's, but he says that the allegiance of the wand has only bloody changed to Hazza because he won it from him in a fight. Interesting. Feels like an unnecessary thing to say, unless they're, of course, setting it up for some plot point later on. Oh, you better believe they are, mate. But get this. Then Hazza's like, what do you know about the Deathly Hallows? What?
I don't know about the Deathly Hallows, and if I did, I definitely didn't tell Voldemort that Gregorovitch was the last owner of the Elder Wand. I think he's lying, Harry. That was way too specific.
Of course he's lying, Ron, you ginger twat.
Oh!
Spill it, Ollivander. I had a vision, and I know about Gregorovitch, and about that website MILFs Like It Big.
Damn it. Oh, okay. He did torture me, you know. Oh, boo-hoo, mate. Cry me a river. We'll torture you if you don't bloody tell us.
Ronald! Simmer down, Ron. We're the good guys. We don't torture people.
If it's true, and he has what you say, you're totally like Riley Reid's asshole levels of
He doesn't say that, does he? Well, no he doesn't, but it's heavily implied because you can still see his streaming porno on his phone when he thinks they aren't looking. Gross. Anyways, the three of them decide that the scene was a total waste of the viewer's time because we learnt no real new information, so they decide to continue with their plan to break into Gringotts Bank and steal the Horcrux from Bellatrix's vault. Alright, so what sort of complicated and elaborate plan do they come up with to do that? Complicated? Mate, you're joking. You know they're just going to use Polyjuice Potion like they always do. Idiots. Yeah, except this time they actually only have one of Bellatrix's hair, so only Hermo gets to use it. I think Ronno has taken some sort of aging potion to make him look older, but they never really explain it. Really? What does he look like? Well, he kinda looks exactly like the actor Rupert Grint, but with a fake beard and longer hair. Idiots. Yeah, I know, right? And Hazza and Griphook, they don't really have any disguise at all, so they're kinda like those people that rock up to Halloween parties and say that dressing up is lame and that they're totally above it. So anyways, they apparate to Diagon Alley, don't they? And a dick eater walks past them and he says hello to Bellatrix. But then Hermo, who's usually supposed to be the smart one, she must have been sniffing petrol or something because she answers in a polite and cheerful manner, which everyone can tell is total bull. Because Bellatrix usually talks to someone in a way that makes it seem like she's wearing a G-string made from barbed wire. Gross, so are they discovered straight away? Nah mate, because apparently Voldemort's been recruiting Death Eaters from the Centrelink waiting line, so the dude's stupid and has no idea what's going on. That's a little bit harsh considering the fact that I know for a fact that you've used Centrelink before. They still think I'm in a wheelchair, so I get massive paychecks every month. Cheeky bastard. Anyways, then they walk into Gringotts, don't they? And Hazza puts Griphook on his shoulders like he's a toddler or something, and then puts the invisibility cloak over them both. On his shoulders? That's a bit demeaning, isn't it? Yeah, that was till Peter Dinklage came along and changed the game for midgets. Till then, they could only play Lollipop Guild members or goblins from the Gringotts Bank. Don't really think that anyone uses the word midgets anymore. Yeah, true. Anyways, then Hazza whispers to Griphook, "Why do you look exactly like Professor Flitwick?"
Because I'm Warwick Davis. I'm the OG Dinklage
That was a weird exchange. Yeah, I know, right? Then Hermo walks into the bank in her Bellatrix disguise. And for some reason, whenever they take Polyjuice Potion, they decide to walk like they have a bag of dicks stuffed up their ass. Gross. So what happens next? Well, she totally f***ed it up, doesn't she? The goblin knows that she isn't Bellatrix right from the start. And Hazza reckons that the real Bellatrix must have told them to be on the lookout for an imposter. That's not good, so they get caught. Nah, mate, because Hazza tries to whisper a spell into the guy's ear from under the invisibility cloak, and he forgot he hadn't brushed his teeth in like 4 months because they didn't pack a toothbrush when they went camping, so the goblin starts vomiting everywhere because his breath smells like a dead kangaroo that crawled up the vagina of another dead kangaroo and was left to rot in the sun on a 40-degree day. Hell, man, why do you always have to be so gross? Yeah, I had a troubled childhood. Anyways, they slip one of the little goblin bastards some pure MDMA, so the dude starts tripping harder than Charlie Sheen was when he said that he had tiger blood.
And I was banging 7-gram rocks and finishing them. You know, I got tiger blood, man. Winning.
So he offers to guide him down into the vault by himself. That's handy. So then they get onto one of those dodgy looking mine carts that people take down into the vaults, right? Well, let me tell you, this thing looks more unsafe than the roller coaster at Luna Park because they have no seatbelts or anything. Yeah, one of my mates broke his shin bone on that thing. Yeah, that was Jeremy. But to be fair, he broke his foot on a garden gnome, so I reckon he just might be a full-on specco. You're probably right about that. Anyways, they mustn't have paid properly for this roller coaster or something because the dude driving it drops them off a cliff, doesn't he? Jesus Christ, they probably break every bone in their body, right? No, mate, they're totally fine. And then the goblin who's on MDMA, he starts freaking out because it's wearing off and threatens to call the guards. Oh, So how are they going to get out of this one? Well, they just slip him some more MDMA, don't they? And he gets so chill that he starts to see the whole world as just a collection of molecules flying around in space, and that the difference between humans and goblins and animals is so infinitesimal that we'd be better off spending our time exploring the stars than fighting each other in pointless wars and grabs for power. Jesus Christ. I mean, he's kind of right, but that guy needs a Powerade and a banana stat. Yeah, I know, right? He kind of has a point. But then I think he must have remembered some old childhood trauma because he starts taking a real dark turn in his trip. And he reckons that if the universe is infinitely expanding and we are just a collection of atoms, then nothing really means anything and our lives have no purpose at all. Holy shit. Yeah, he's f***ed. So he gets so freaked out that he calls the guards for help again, doesn't he? Not good. And to make things worse, they run into a bloody dragon. And not just any dragon, a Ukrainian iron belly dragon, who's super pissed off that people have stopped putting Ukrainian flags in their Instagram bios when they moved on to the next trendy cause. That's fair. Anyways, then the goblin chills out after Ronno gives him a tab of Valium, and then Hermo gets all preachy and she starts going on about how it's cruel to keep a dragon locked up like this, which is kind of true, but she doesn't have to bang on about it in such a whiny voice, you know? I like her voice. Yeah, of course you do, Peter. Hey! Anyways, they get to the bloody vault, don't they? And the goblin, who's all drugged up, he starts to get paranoid again, doesn't he? So right after he lets him into the vault, he just bloody locks him in there. That cheeky little bastard. And the vault, it only looks like the bloody Cave of Wonders from Aladdin, doesn't it? It's filled to the brim with golden trinkets and treasures, so they could be looking for this Horcrux for bloody days. Damn, so how do they find it? Well, Hazza just points to the first one he sees, and he's like, there it is. What the? Yeah, well apparently the screenwriters were getting anxious about how much more plot they had to get through, so they just thought, F it, that'll do. Yeah, I can tell. But then get this. Ronno accidentally knocks over some gold and it starts multiplying like it was the rats in your parents' basement. They weren't rats, they were mice. Whatever, all I know is I found shit in a cup when I was trying to get a drink one day. Anyways, Griphook's like,
It's the bloody Gemino curse, you wankers. Anything you touch will keep multiplying.
so the room starts filling up faster than Riley Reid's asshole. Gross. But then Hazza, he gets Hermo to throw him the bloody sword, doesn't he? So Hazza manages to reach the Horcrux and battles his way back down, doesn't he? But right as he gets there, he stumbles over and drops the bloody Horcrux, doesn't he? So Griphook picks it up and he's like,
Throw me the sword, and I'll give you the Horcrux.
what are you doing, you sneaky little c***? So then Hazza throws Griphook the sword and then he throws him the Horcrux. But then he's like,
I said I'd get you in, but I didn't say anything about getting you out, you specky twat.
that double-crossing little bastard. I know, right? He pulled a bloody Indiana Jones on him. You know, where Dr. Otto Octavius was like,
Throw me the idol, and I'll throw you the whip.
and then he just pieced out and he was like,
Adios, senor.
that was a terrible Spanish accent. You sounded like Speedy Gonzales. Yeah, f you. Anyways, Griphook runs off screaming to the guards like the little bitch he is, and then the guards come in and they look like they live in America or something, and they start shooting up the bloody place. Jesus Christ, how are they gonna get out of this one? Well, Hermo says she's got a crazy idea, right? So then she shows the dragon that she still has a Ukrainian flag in her Instagram bio, and the dragon's so bloody happy that someone still gives a fuck about it that the dragon agrees to let them climb on its back and fly out of the bloody dungeon. That's convenient. It sure is, mate. Oh yeah, and that little goblin who was on MDMA, he gets incinerated for no reason at all. Holy shit. I know, right? So the guards open fire like they're a disgruntled white teenage boy in a school cafeteria, and then the dragon smashes through the roof into bloody Gringotts Bank. Why the hell would they place a dragon under the weakest part of the bank's vault? Never explained. Anyways, the dragon is so pissed off at the goblins because it's been chained up for so long that it starts trying to chomp them all bloody up. And then the three of them manage to calm it down by doing that thing that Scarlett Johansson does to the Hulk.
Hey, big guy. Sun's getting real low.
So they smash through the roof and they bloody escape. That was a close call. I know, right? But get this, the dragon's not bloody stopping, is it? Why not? Well, apparently it wants to go help Zelensky fight on the front lines. So it's flying to Kiev to learn how to pilot drones. So Hazza, Ronno and Hermo have no choice but to bloody jump off mid-flight. They jump off a flying dragon hundreds of meters in the air. Well, they jump into the bloody ocean, don't they? Yeah, but the surface tension alone would break their bloody legs. Well, forget about logic for a second, because they're only bloody fine, aren't they? Of course they are. Anyways, apparently while Hazza was underwater, he had another bloody Apple Vision Pro. Oh, so you mean he released a ridiculously overpriced piece of tech that everyone talked about for about a day and then never used a year later? Nah, mate, I mean he had a vision of Voldemort finding out that they'd stolen another one of his Horcruxes, and now he's slaughtering everyone from Gringotts Bank like it's bloody Hotel Rwanda or something. Jesus Christ! Anyways, the three of them start planning what to do next while they're taking off their wet clothes, and Ronno looks like he's really struggling with it.
Well, we'll go to Hogsmeade, to Honeydew, take the secret passage in the cellar. There's something wrong with him. It's like, in the past.
What a weird shot to include in the movie. I know, right? That must have been like the best take they had, because why else would you put it in the movie? Anyways, Hazza's like, he knows we've got a Horcrux. Harry, you're not supposed to let him in.
Yeah, Harry, at least use some bloody lube first.
Ew, gross, Ron. I can't help it, can I, Hermione? Anyways, we have to go to Hogwarts now. Why the hell would we go there, Harry? I mean, she's got a point, right? Snape and the Death Eaters are in control of Hogwarts now. They've probably got like CCTV all over the place. Nah, mate, apparently they only have that real low quality CCTV. You know, the kind that when you see a crime take place on it, it's inadmissible as evidence because you can see all, and it only really serves as a deterrent. Ah, well, they're going to be fine then. Yeah, anyways, Hazza reckons that he saw a Horcrux in Voldemort's vision because apparently the plot really doesn't want to fuck around this time. That's super convenient, but let's move on. Well, he reckons that he saw something about Rowena Ravenclaw, and he's certain that she's connected to a Horcrux somehow. Seems like a bit of a flimsy reason to go through with the most reckless plan he's come up with yet. I know, right? So then we cut to Malfoy Manor, and Voldemort is casually walking through pools of blood from all the people he's killed from Gringotts Bank. Why would there be blood though? Doesn't the killing curse usually just leave them stiff and with a surprised look on their face? Yeah, usually. You know, the same kind of look that Elvis had when he went to take a shit and died on the toilet? But nah, not this time. Apparently he really wanted to mess those people up, so he used that spell, Rectum Sempra. You mean Sectum Sempra? Yeah, that's the one. Anyways, Voldemort's talking to Nagini in Parseltongue, saying that he knows that Hazza has discovered his Horcruxes and how it's going to make him vulnerable. Yeah, why would the snake be vulnerable though? Unless the snake is a Horcrux as well. You're right. Could you at least pretend to act surprised when it's finally revealed? Got it. I know the drill by now. Anyways, on the ground, covered in blood, is none other than Griphook. And you can tell that he's really dead because he's finally let go of that guy's cock. They don't actually show his hand letting go of a random cock, do they? Nah, they don't. But there's a close-up of his hand and there are white stains all over his sleeves, so it's heavily implied. Gross. So next up, Hazza, Hermo and Ronno apparate into Hogsmeade in the middle of the night. And there are more wanted posters of Hazza and the gang plastered around town than those annoying political posters that Clive Palmer puts up around election time. And get this, a bloody pussy starts screaming. How does a pussy scream? I don't know, it just kind of pulsates and sprays water everywhere? Gross, I thought you were talking about a cat. Yeah, I was. Okay, now I'm really confused. But get this, the dick eaters hear the dripping wet pussy and they decide to bloody investigate. And just when it looks like they're about to be captured, a bloke who looks suspiciously like Dumbledore jumps out from the shadows and tells them to follow him. What the hell? Ah, don't worry, mate, it's not a ghost. Whew, it's only bloody Dumbledore's brother. Remember that one that the old lady who pissed on Hazza's face at the wedding mentioned? Oh yeah, that's right. So Hazza goes, "You're Aberforth Dumbledore, aren't you? You're the one who I've been seeing in this weird shard of glass that was never properly explained."
You stupid wanker. What were you thinking coming here? Are you smoking gillyweed? Come on, hand it over. Where is it?
I'm not smoking gillyweed, all right? I'm pretty sure he is. This plan is more cooked than if Dumbledore himself had have come up with it. Yeah, I know, mate. Hazza was trying to channel Dumbledore, so he stayed up late doom scrolling on Grindr just to try and come up with a plan himself. Ah, that makes sense. Yeah, so now they've gotten Aberforth into shit as well, haven't they? And Hazza, he's walking a little bit funny, so I reckon he got a few hits on Grindr as well. Gross. Anyways, then Aberforth tells Hazza that SiriusBlack.com was the one that gave him the mirror, and then he says that if he hadn't sent Dobby to come and bloody rescue them, that they'd be up creek without a paddle and without a snorkel. Isn't the saying just without a paddle? Yeah, but if you don't have a snorkel either, then you'd get shit in your mouth if you actually had to swim across the creek, wouldn't you? Gross. I'm sorry I asked. Anyways, then there's this awkward pause when Aberforth asks where Dobby is. You know, because Hazza and the gang didn't apparate him to a hospital when they clearly could have. Ouch, too soon. Anyways, they finally get over that awkward little silence and Hazza tells Aberforth about his plan. "We need to get into Hogwarts tonight. Dumbledore gave us a job to do."
Did he know? Nice job, is it? Easy, is it? Come on, Harry. We both know Dumbledore fried his dopamine receptors years ago.
We've been hunting Horcruxes, and we think the last one could be in the castle, you old coot.
Coot? I haven't heard that one in a while.
Yeah, Harry, that was pretty bloody weak. Oh, piss off, Ron.
Oh!
So does he help them get into the castle or what? Well, that's the thing. Aberforth starts talking to a painting of his dead sister, doesn't he? Hang on, why the would he do that? Yeah, I know, for a minute I thought maybe he'd smoked more meth than his brother. But get this, the girl disappears, and when she returns, the portrait opens, and you'll never believe who jumps out. I don't know, Jesus? No, mate, we all know he's not coming back anytime soon. Wasn't he resurrected though? Yeah, mate, sure. And Santa rides a sleigh pulled with flying reindeer. Anyways, no, it's not Jesus. Jesus, calm down. He can't calm down, he's dead. No, I meant, you know what, never mind. Just tell me who it is. Neville. And let me tell you, his face is more banged up than Paul Walker's car was after he drove too fast and too furiously. You know, because he died. Come on, dude, let him rest in peace. Anyways, Neville and Aberforth chat like they're old mates or something, don't they? Looks like he's the one who's been helping kids in and out of Hoggies ever since the Dick Eaters have put up the school on lockdown. Wait, since when was Neville such a badass? Well, remember how Neville grew some really long balls in the last film? Gross. Yes? Well, they're even longer now, aren't they? So you can see them hanging out of his pant legs every scene. Gross. You just said that. Come on, shake it up, mate. Anyways, Neville, he's been leading a bit of a rebellion from within Hoggies, hasn't he? Really? Neville? Yeah, mate. Apparently those long balls are filled with testosterone and caffeine because he's jacked up and ready to fight. I'm not going to say it, but You know what I'm thinking. So then he leads them through the secret tunnel into Hoggies, and the whole rebellion is waiting for him in the room of requirement, which is once again conveniently changed to suit the needs of the film's plot, naturally. Anyways, then the room bursts with bloody applause, doesn't it? Because everyone's stoked to see Hazza. Aren't they supposed to be hiding though? Wouldn't yelling and applauding be like the last thing you'd want to do? Yeah, they're f***ing idiots, that's for sure. But the room of requirement already knew that, so it included some of those black foam walls that you see in recording booths, just to block out the sound. Ah, that's smart. I know, right? Anyways, they're all gagging to help Hazza fight against the Dick Eaters. So Hazza gives an epic speech. Okay, there's something we need to find. Something hidden here in the castle. And it may help us defeat you-know-who.
All right. Where is it?
We don't know. Oh, potatoes. Then where is it? We don't know that either. So even the writers are admitting that he doesn't know what he's doing anymore. Yeah, mate. And then Hazza realizes quickly why public speaking is even higher on most people's fears than death. And he starts to get so sweaty that his asshole starts to stink. And then Luna steps up and she's like, "You might want to go wipe that swamp butt, Harry. We can all smell it from here." What? I don't know what you're talking about, Luna. You don't. Anyway, I think what you're looking for might be Rowena Ravenclaw's lost diadem. How the hell does she know that? Also, how did she even get to the school? Wasn't she at Bill and Fleur's auntie's house before? Oh, you better believe that's never explained, mate. Anyways, Cho Chang says something too, but you can tell that she's only there to prove to the audience that the school isn't just filled with whiteys like us. Whiteys like us? I'm not really sure I'm comfortable with that phrasing. You know, this is the problem with you progressives. I was trying to say the school is dodgy for not having enough Asians, and you still took issue with the way I said it. Yeah, but whiteys? Feels like a little bit of a dog whistle, you know? So's your cock, mate. What? Don't you think that I haven't seen all that peanut butter you've got in your room, mate? Dude, what the hell? That is a blatant lie. Anyways, the gang all decide to split up and help Hazza find the lost diadem, don't they? But right as they agree, Ginny busts in and she tells everyone that Snape knows that Hazza was spotted in Hogsmeade and that the wet smelly pussy told him. Gross. So then we cut to the students goose-stepping through the halls because they really want to drive home that Nazi theme, and it's revealed that they've all been summoned to a late night assembly with Snape-o. And he's like,
"I know that specky little twat was in Hogsmeade. We saw him on the CCTV, which, you know, honestly was worse than 480p in quality. But I could tell it was him. Kind of. So, tell me, do any of you know where he is?"
Uh-oh, does anyone rat him out? Well, they don't have time, do they? Because Hazza steps out from the crowd, and then he says, "It seems despite your exhaustive defensive strategies, you still have a security problem, Headmaster." And then all the Order of the Three Dicks step into the room. "And I'm afraid it's quite extensive. You big-nosed c***." Got him. Then Hazza is like, "How dare you stand where he stood after you murdered him in cold blood, you greasy-haired simp."
Who?
Dumbledore, mate. Remember? Snape-o murdered him. Ah, yeah, right. Sorry, I was playing with my phone. Put it away, mate. If you're not even listening, how can we expect the bloody audience to? Good point. Sorry, everyone. That's my bad. Idiots. Anyways, get this. Snape-o pulls out his wand and he's about to jizz all over Hazza's face. But then bloody McGonagall steps in front of Hazza and starts blasting jizz at Snape-o. I always knew McGonagall was a bit of a badass. I know, right? And Snape-o, it's almost like he's not fighting back, yeah? He sort of deflects the spells into the two Dick Eaters behind him, and then he turns into a bat and flies out the window. He what? Since when could he do that? Since now, apparently. Maybe he's a vampire and a pedo like that Edward Cullen guy. And why was McGonagall the one who had to step up and help him? What was the point in the Order of the Phoenix rocking up if they weren't going to do anything? That's right. What the bloody hell were they thinking? Anyways, everyone starts cheering, don't they? Because apparently that's all that NPCs are programmed to do at this school. But it doesn't last long, does it? Some chick starts screaming, and then another chick does too. And then suddenly, a bunch of women are screaming. And no, I know what you're thinking. It's not because they're all on their periods. I wasn't thinking that. Ah, well, I was. Anyways, it's bloody Voldemort, isn't it? And he starts talking inside everyone's heads, because apparently he can do that now. Not sure why he hasn't been using that power all along, but you know, whatever. Yeah, true. What does he say? And then he goes,
"I know some of you are itching for a fight. You're all upset about the football scores and you've had too much booze, so I can't blame you. But listen to me now. There doesn't have to be any bloodshed. Just hand over that specky twat Potter to me, and I'll even throw in a $50 gift card to Marks and Spencer's."
That's a pretty crummy gift. I know, right? And British people use pounds, so not even sure that would work, the daft prick.
And now a word from our sponsor.
Dear Ministry of Magical Things, I'm writing to you today to invoice you for the costs incurred while running this school. Item number 1.
The levitating stairs are not only expensive to run on electricity, but they've killed multiple students. The lawsuits alone have set me back over 3,000 coins every day. Item number 2. What the?
You don't need to write me, I'm standing right here.
Oh, so you are.
With Odoo invoicing, you no longer have to wear out your hand writing with that old quill.
Thank goodness my fingers feel like they're about to fall off.
Odoo invoicing is so simple and easy to use that you'll think it's magic.
I see what you did there. Very good. So, how do I conjure up one of these invoices, Minister?
Simple. With just a swish and a click, you pick your customer, tap in what you're owed, and the invoice is ready to send faster than you can say, Wingardium Invoicia.
Ah, excellent. That spell really does take a long time to say.
Odoo invoicing will even use its inbuilt alchemy to calculate the taxes incurred in your local currency.
We don't use alchemy here. We use magic.
It's basically the same thing, but fine. It uses magic.
Oh, well then that does sound handy then.
It even integrates payment settings like Stripe and PayPal so recipients can pay online instantly. That way you won't need to deal with goblins and accountants who like to take their cut from your coins.
I see. Now we're talking.
Odoo invoicing has automated reminders so you don't need to hire more owls to chase up those overdue invoices.
Oh, damn it. That is good. I wish I hadn't just hired 2,000 of those damn things. They're a nightmare to clean up after.
Not only that, but you can try Odoo's first app for free.
All right, I'm sold. But please don't sneak into my office again. That was really creepy.
Anyways, Pansy Parkinson's like, what are you waiting for? Somebody grab him! But the students, they're not bloody having it, are they? They all step in front of Hazza, daring anyone to try. Which again, I'm not really sure where the order of the three dicks are for all this. So then, McGonagall's like, Mr. Filch, stop bumming your cat and come here.
All right, what did you want? I mean, no, I wasn't. You can't prove anything.
Oh, shut up, you perverted old bastard. Have the Slytherins escorted to the dungeons, please. Wait, so she just locks up the Slytherin students in a bloody dungeon because one of them misbehaved? Yeah, mate, it's well out of pocket. Kind of racist, really. Well, I'm not sure being Slytherin is a race, mate. Shut up. Anyways, then she's like, Potter, I assume you must have a bloody good reason to come marching into an obvious trap like this. I do, Professor, but I need some time. Can you spare it? What do I look like? A bloody stopwatch, Potter? Fine. This better be good, because if Voldemort doesn't kill you first, I just might do it myself for wasting me bloody time. Damn, she's cold as ice. I know, right? But she's kind of right. Anyways, Potter runs out of the hall and bangs into Ronno and Hermo. And get this, Ronno's actually done something useful again. No f***ing way. Yes, f***ing way. Hermo is practically leaking from the gash, explaining how Ronno said they can't even destroy the Horcrux even if they do find it. But he said him and her can go down into the basement and get another fang from the basilisk's dead body. I mean, first of all, Hermione has some pretty low standards if this is turning her on. And secondly, why would Dumbledore have left a rotting giant snake carcass in the basement all these years? It'd be stinking up the joint. Oh, I know, mate, but never you mind, because they don't even bother giving us a satisfying answer to that, do they? So Hazza agrees to have them go and find it while he goes to find the Horcrux. And he gives them the Marauder's Fap so that they can find him when they get back. And what are the Order of the Phoenix doing? No idea, mate. Other than stand slightly menacing in a doorway, they've really done sweet so far. Anyways, McGonagall has been up drinking Red Bulls and snorting lines of coke all night because she's keen as mustard for a dust-up, isn't she? So she leads all the teachers outside and then she shouts, Pure Totem Locomotor! Okay, what does that spell do? Yeah, no clue, mate. But then all the stone gargoyles in the bloody school start marching out to protect Hogwarts, like they were poor people sent to Iraq on the false claim that they were holding weapons of mass destruction. Since when could the gargoyles and statues do that? Since J.K. Rowling realised that only a handful of kids actually trained in Dumbledore's army, and if they were to actually go in a one-on-one fight with Dick Eaters, they'd all get bloody minced. So she goes and pulls some random shit like this out of her ass, doesn't she? Ah, right, that makes sense. Then get this, McGonagall looks at Neville's long balls hanging out the bottom of his pants, and she tells him to tuck them into his socks, or someone might step on them. Gross. Yeah, but then she also tells him and Seamus that they can go and blow something up. What? Yeah, no idea. Kind of just sounds like she's enabling that little pyro Seamus, but I suppose we're supposed to wonder what she's actually talking about until they show us later on. Ah, right. That feels unnecessarily vague. Not sure how they knew what they were supposed to blow up, but go on. Well, get this. All of the other teachers at Hoggies get sick of standing around with no lines, so they cast a massive protective dome over Hogwarts. Nice. Kind of like the Simpsons movie. Yeah, mate, it's exactly like the Simpsons movie. It's a massive rip-off now that I come to think about it. Anyways, Hazza, he's running up the stairs towards the Ravenclaw common room, isn't he? And bloody Luna is chasing after him, like an ICE operative chasing down anyone who looks slightly brown. Papers or no papers. No more politics. Sharpen up, mate. Sorry. Anyway, she's like, hurry, wait. I can't, Luna. I have to find the Horcrux, and I really need to take a Harry Potter, you listen to me this instant! Oh, snap. I've never heard Luna yell before. I know, right? Anyway, she tells Hazza he's heading in the wrong bloody direction. She reckons that no one alive has seen Ravenclaw's diadem, so they have to speak to a bloody ghost, don't they? It's gotta be Moaning Myrtle, right? Nah, mate. Nearly Headless Nick? Nah, mate. The bloody Baron then? You shut the f up. It's none of them. Although one of them probably would have made more sense narratively. It's the ghost of Rowena Ravenclaw's daughter. Okay, have we met that ghost before? Nope. Never. You can tell this was fleshed out way more in the books. And let me guess, they barely explain it here, and it just kind of feels like a laundry list of plot points are being ticked off with no cohesive thread between them. Bingo. For f***'s sake. Anyways, they climb the tower to speak to the ghost of Rowena Ravenclaw's daughter, and she's upset because her episode of Black Mirror, you know, the one about the robotic bees, was mid-tier at best. Yeah, that was an average episode, hey. Had potential, but just didn't quite nail the concept, you know? Exactly, mate. Anyways, Hazza is like, you're the Grey Lady, aren't you? The ghost of Ravenclaw Tower. I hate that stupid name. I have like one grey hair and suddenly I'm the Grey Lady. Should I call you Grey Boy because you've got that one grey pubic hair on your left testicle? How can you see that? I mean, I'm sorry. You're Helena Ravenclaw's daughter, right? I need the diadem. I want to destroy it. No, a boy asked me for it a long time ago and he tricked me. I think his name was like Kitty Fiddler or something like that. You mean Tom Riddle? Yes, that's the one. Interesting. So are we about to get some more backstory about how Tom Riddle became Voldemort? Nah, not at all, mate, because this movie has a checklist of plot points to get through, just like you said. For f***'s sake. And it's burning through them faster than that STI you got from an Airbnb toilet seat in Thailand. That was a bad week. All right then, so what's next? Well, we cut to outside Hoggies, and bloody Voldemort has gathered an army of dick-eaters, like he's about to storm Helm's Deep or something. Oh, shit. Yeah, and they're all white guys too, so you know the movie really wants you to think they're evil. Yeah, that's true. Hollywood did just kind of only have straight white businessmen as the villains for a while there, didn't they? Yeah, but before that it was the Muslims, and before that it was anyone who was even remotely Asian, so I guess it was our turn. Fair enough. I mean, I'd prefer them just to write good villains and not worry about race, but whatever. Yeah, mate, that's what we all want. So anyways, all the dick-eaters start shooting loads of thick white jizz at the Simpsons movie dome. And everyone inside is looking at it with disgust because it's just started raining. And you know how jizz becomes all claggy and glue-like when it gets wet? That's so true. Anyways, let's lay off the jizz jokes, shall we? Never. Jizz is just too funny a word. Yeah, I guess you're right. Anyways, come on, this thing's gonna be bloody 2 hours long at this rate. All right then, so, Hazza is grilling Ravenclaw's daughter, and she isn't having a bar of it, is she? Because she doesn't want to give him the diadem, because she says Hazza looks like just another incel, just like Tom Riddle. I mean, that's kind of fair, right? Yeah, exactly. But then Hazza manages to pull some full-on judo logic on her and convinces her that he means to actually destroy it this time. So then she's like, it's here in the castle, in the place where everything is hidden. If you have to ask, you'll never know. If you know, you only need ask. What the hell does that mean? Yeah, well, you know, mate, no one in this franchise ever just says things directly, do they? Otherwise, the scripts would only be about 2 pages long. So how does he figure it out? No idea. But somehow he knows exactly what she's on about, and he starts running there straight away. Oh, for f***'s sake. The last film took way too long with their plot points, and this film isn't taking long enough. Oh no, mate, the movie's peaked at Azkaban. You don't really need to tell me that. Yeah, true, that was the best one. Anyways, Hermo and Ronno have made their way to the entrance of the Chamber of Secrets, haven't they? That was quick. It took them a whole movie last time. Yeah, it sure did. Anyways, Ronno opens up the door by speaking in parcel tongue, and Hermo starts leaking from the gash so hard that Ronno has to put on bloody gumboots. Gross. And when she looks at him with surprise, he tells her that Hazza talks a lot in his sleep, which either means that Ronno spends a lot of time watching Hazza sleep, or he's just recording him somehow, so I'm not really sure which is worse. True, that's pretty creepy now that I think about it. Yeah, but Hermo, she only bloody loves it, doesn't she? So the two of them run into the Chamber of Secrets, and Ronno says to Hermo she needs to take a look at his big snake. He does what? No, mate, the Bloody basilisk, not his woody woodpecker. Oh yeah. Anyways, then they yank out a tooth and Ronno gives her the fang, and then he takes out the Horcrux, you know, the one they stole from Benedict's vault. Oh yeah, I almost forgot they had that. Yeah, they've barely mentioned it since, so I don't blame you. Anyways, then Hermo stabs the Horcrux, and she's so turned on by this new alpha male Ronno that she floods the room with her pussy juice, and then the two of them bloody kiss, don't they? Gross. Anyways, then we cut to old mate Voldemort, who's still just standing on a hilltop apparently, and he senses that another one of his whores has been killed. You mean Horcrux? Yeah, that's the one. So he starts screaming like he's Riley Reid in a Black.com video, and then he unleashes a massive blast on the Simpsons dome and completely bloody shatters it, doesn't he? Oh, sounds like we're about to see an epic battle. Yeah, I mean, sort of. We see small flashes of it, but they mostly keep the budget contained by sticking to what Hazza, Hermo, and Ronno are doing. Lame. Oh, you better believe it, mate. Anyways, Neville Longballs, he's at that weird twisty bridge thing, isn't he? And he's gassed up making fun of all the dick eaters who are trapped behind the dome trying to get in. So then he turns around and flashes his ass at him, doesn't he? Classic move, that one. Yeah, but it only bloody backfires, doesn't it? The dome breaks and all the werewolves start to transform and chase after him. Wait, so why do they transfer? Ah, I got it. They all saw his full moon. I see what you did there. Yeah, it took you long enough. Anyways, he has to leg it across the bridge to retreat back into school. But get this, Seamus Finnegan's gone full bloody Unabomber, and he's rigged up the bridge with explosives. So Neville lights the whole thing up and it bloody explodes. And I think he kills about 1,000 people. Jesus Christ. Yeah, I know, Neville's technically a serial killer now. Anyways, he's legging it across the bridge as it's collapsing, and he bloody falls off the bridge with everyone else. Oh, so Neville dies? Ah, mate, because he only does that Indiana Jones thing where everyone thinks he's fallen to his death, and then when they're all crying, he shows them he hasn't fallen at all, doesn't he? That is your second Indiana Jones reference this episode. Have you watched them recently or something? Yeah, mate, it's the best trilogy ever made. Aren't there like 5 of them now? I said it's the best trilogy ever made. Okay, settle down. Either way, I think you're forgetting about Back to the Future and Lord of the Rings. True. Anyways, now it's on like Donkey Kong's hairy balls, isn't it? The dick eaters are tearing up the castle, and the stone golems are facing up against bloody Voldemort's giants. Apparently he has giants now. And the Order of the Three Dicks, they're finally bloody doing something, aren't they? Especially Kingsley, who's going full ghetto on those Death Eaters' asses. Holy crap, they're really committed to ticking off these plot points, aren't they? They sure are, mate. Anyways, Hazza is running through the castle and he bumps into Ginny and Neville. And Neville, he's become an action junkie now, hasn't he? So he's barred up under his school pants and apparently he's on the hunt for Luna. Really? That seems like a bit of a weird thing to do during battle. Yeah, apparently he's got a chubby fat one for Luna and he wants to tell her right now while most of the blood has been drained from his brain and he's thinking with his, yes, I get it, mate, gross. Anyways, Hazza gives Ginny a big old sloppy kiss and then he says he has to go. Where? No idea. So then we cut to Malfoy, don't we? And he apparates into the castle and grabs Crabbe and Goyle, Blaze, Zabini and Goyle, and now they're hunting for something too. What are they hunting for? Yeah, no idea. So Hazza, he's legging it through some CGI debris and he goes to the room of bloody requirement. Ah, so that's where the Horcrux is. Yeah, mate, because remember that weird ghost lady said, in the place where everything is hidden. If you have to ask, you'll never know. If you know, you need only ask. I guess that kind of makes sense. Yeah, well, there was another scene where we see her just totally lose patience with him trying to figure it out, and then she's like, oh, for f***'s sake, it's in the room of requirement, you specky twat. Oh, got him. Right, and Ronno, he sees Hazza disappear on the map, so he says to Hermo, he's gone into the bloody room of requirement, hasn't he, the daft git? How do you know that? Remember you told me last year that the people in the room of requirement don't show up on the map, do they? Yes, that's right. I'm sorry, I'm just surprised you listened. Well, normally I tune out your voice because all you do is bloody nag us lads. Am I right, everyone? Who are you even talking to? So Ron's just become a full-blown misogynist now. But Hermo only bloody loves it, doesn't she? And get this, Malfoy, Crabbe and Goyle, Blaze and Goyle. You can just say Crabbe, mate. No one really knows who Blaze is or cares. Oh, thank God. So anyways, Crabbe 2.0 and Goyle and Malfoy, they see Hazza walk into the room of requirement, don't they? So I guess now we know what they're looking for. The door's closed though, how will they get in? No idea. Anyways, Hazza gets in there and the place is a bloody labyrinth now, isn't it? Filled with towers of junk that's stacked all the way up to the ceiling and seemingly stretches on forever. I thought the room turned into whatever a person needed. Why wouldn't it just be a small room with a box on the table and a sign pointing at it saying, here's your bloody Horcrux, mate? Yeah, good point. They breeze right past that one, don't they? So how's he gonna find it amongst all this junk? Does he use some sort of clever logic or spell to locate it? Nah, mate, because it's only in the first place he bloody looks in, isn't it? Of course it is. Yeah, but right as Hazza grabs the Horcrux, he's cornered by Malfoy, and for all intents and purposes, Crabbe and Goyle. I mean, I'd love to know how they got in there so fast, but let's just move past that. Yeah, but this movie doesn't really give a fuck about nagging things like logic, so neither should you. Anyways, Hazza starts grilling Malfoy, doesn't he? And he's like, "Why didn't you tell her? Bellatrix, you knew it was me, and you didn't say. Why?" Oh, snap. So is this the start of Malfoy's redemption arc? No, mate, he just goes straight back to his old self and is about to hex Hazza when Ronno and Hermo show up and save him. That's convenient. Oh yeah, it's super convenient. Anyways, Ronno does the whole Indiana Jones thing where he runs around the corner confidently screaming, but then he runs back moments later screaming for help. Come on, man, you gotta stop with these Indiana Jones references now. 3 is too much. Fine. Anyways, apparently Malfoy and his 2 ball fondler mates have accidentally lit the whole room on fire, haven't they? How did they do that? No idea. Anyways, because this movie is more interested in action than plot, Hazza and Hermo get attacked by some pixies trying to get the Horcrux, and then the 3 of them have to climb to the top of the junk towers just to avoid the raging fires. Okay, that escalated quickly. It sure did, mate. Quicker than John Cena backpedaled after he called Taiwan a country and was forced to apologise by the CCP.
很抱歉。 对我的错误，对不起，我很抱歉。
Damn, that's pretty quick. Anyways, because it's the room of convenience, the room provides Hazza, Hermo and Ronno with some bloody brooms to escape the fire, doesn't it? That is convenient. And then we cut to Malfoy, Crabbe and Goyle, and they're trying to escape the fire too by climbing up all the junk as well. And Goyle, he must have been smoking some cones beforehand because he slips and falls into the flames like an absolute pelican. So he's dead. He's definitely dead. So now Malfoy and Crabbe 2.0 are waiting at the top of the pile for the flames to engulf them. When you won't believe this, bloody Hazza, Hermo and Ronno save him. What? But they just tried to kill him. That's what Ronno says. He's like, "If we die trying to save him, Harry, I'll kill you." Which makes about as much sense as Joe Biden did on the presidential debate night.
Everything we have to do with, look, if we finally beat Medicare.
Yeah, I think that was the day that everyone realised that the Democrats had just been playing Weekend at Bernie's for the past 4 years. Yeah, you're not wrong, mate. And now the world is stuck with Epstein's best mate. Anyways, we don't do politics on this channel, remember? I mean, at this point, we clearly do, but let's keep telling ourselves that. Agreed. So Hazza, Ronno and Hermo fly out of the room of requirement and they drop Malfoy and Crabbe 2.0 like a sack of shit. And they waste no bloody time at all, and Hazza stabs the next Horcrux like he's been getting personal tips from OJ bloody Simpson, and he destroys it. So is that it? No more Horcruxes? Nah, mate, there's still one left. What are the chances that this one's going to be at Hogwarts too? The chances are pretty bloody good, mate, because we see Voldemort, who looks like he's having a heart attack, and Bellatrix tells him to lay off the burger rings because apparently he eats like 3 packs of them a day, and those things have like crazy high sodium levels. True, they are delicious though. Oh, mate, I'm getting hard just thinking about them right now. Anyways, then old mate Voldy runs off to hide with his pet snake and apparates away. So Hazza is like, "The snake is the last Horcrux." They're not even pretending to write a plot anymore, are they? No, they aren't, mate. That wasn't even 20 seconds to figure out where that Horcrux was. Yeah, I know. Anyways, Ronno is like, "Look inside him, Harry. Get deep inside him. Get up all in those tight, wet places and..." Ronald! What? I'm just trying to tell him to read Voldemort's mind. Ah, smart. I know, right? Anyways, Hazza must have already gotten balls deep inside Voldemort because he looks like he's about to spill some Greek yogurt in his bloody pants. Gross. And then we see old mate Leukemia grilling Lucius Malfoy in the boathouse, telling him to go and unalive himself. There's no way that that happens. It's not even heavily implied, it's just heavily supplied. That didn't really work, mate. Nah, you're right. Let's just stick to the standard catchphrase next time. Anyway, so now they know where Voldemort is and where to find him. So Hazza, Ronno and Hermo run through a giant battlefield. Literally, there are giants everywhere. And one of them is even swinging a bloody Quidditch goalpost as a weapon. Jesus Christ, why didn't they just apparate to the boathouse? Because you can't apparate within Hogwarts. Duh. Yeah, but we just saw Malfoy do it. And Voldemort. Oh yeah. Well, I guess they're just a pack of dementards then, aren't they? Anyways, this battle scene is off the chain. There's a giant spider, a werewolf is eating some kid's face. What the really? Yeah, mate, and they just totally breezed past it like it wasn't the most up thing in the whole series. Oh my god. And then, speaking of dementards, about 1 billion of them surge towards the front gate. So then Dumbledore's brother does a KO Ken ×5 Kamehameha in their faces, and they all explode. That family's just filled with powerful wizards, isn't it? Yeah, I guess they have good genes, just like Sydney Sweeney. Oh man, don't quote that ad. It's already old news anyways. Yeah, whatever, she's hot. Anyways, they finally get to the bloody boathouse, and you'll never guess who's there with Voldemort. Yeah, sure. I guess we can do this bit one more time before the end of the series. Is it John Travolta's old face? What? You know, before he got all that facial surgery and dyed his hair shoe polish black? Nah, mate. It's bloody Snape'o. Oh, Snape'o. I was wondering when we'd see him again. Well, this is his big scene, mate, because Voldemort is finally sus on him for playing both sides, isn't he?
Where did we get this wand from? Alibaba.com or something, Snape? It's terrible.
My lord, you have performed miracles with this wand already. I assure you, when the time comes to face the boy, it will not fail you.
Oh, cut this shit, Snape. I see what you're up to. You won the wand from Dumbledore, so its allegiance is to you. I can't unlock its full power till you're 6 feet under.
Why does it always have to be 6 feet under? When did that start? Well, apparently when the Black Plague pillaged London harder than Riley Reid's ass, the Mayor of London ordered all the bodies to be buried at least 6 feet under to minimise the risk of contamination. Really? Is that actually true, or are you just full of shit? Nah, mate, that's true. You got bloody Google, you can look it up too, dickhead. Well, I'll be damned. Anyways, Voldemort bloody kills Snape'o. Shit, really? Yeah, mate, and it's brutal. He slashes his throat and then he has Nagini bite him like 42 times. Jesus Christ. Anyways, Hazza, Hermo and Ronno are right outside and they hear it all, don't they? So, once Voldemort pisses off, Hazza runs in to bloody help him. Why? He's been a to him for like 7 years. Yeah, but now we're supposed to sympathise with him because there's sad music. Aw, poor Snape'o. That's the spirit. Anyways, he talks to Hazza like a real person for the first time ever. And he's like,
you have your mother's eyes and your father's penis.
Gross. I know, right? Then Snape'o starts bloody crying and being a total wuss. I mean, he had his throat slashed and was attacked by a giant snake. If you can't cry then, when can you cry? Mate, you just bottle it down until it comes out in an angry, inappropriate rage like men have done for bloody generations. That doesn't really sound healthy at all. Anyways, he tells Hazza to take his tears to the pensive, doesn't he? So Hazza somehow manages to bottle his tears, which honestly is the most thing this series has ever done. Yeah, there's no way you could catch a single tear in a bottle. Impossible, right? Anyway, sadly, that's the last time we get Alan Rickman as Snape'o. But before we have time to process his death, Voldemort's voice projects through the air like he's tapped into the old school speaker system or something. And he's like,
you have fought well. Well, actually not that well. Pretty embarrassing effort, really. But I shall grant you this moment of peace. Bury your dead. Go get some McDonald's or something. Take a break. I don't want any more bloodshed. I command my forces to retreat. Harry Potter, I speak directly to you now. Meet me out the back of school after class. I heard what you said about my mum, and it wasn't cool. So let's settle this. Like men.
Hang on a second, what was the point in attacking the school if his plan all along was just to have Harry face him in the woods alone? Yeah, no idea. Voldemort might have found Dumbledore's weed stash or something. I reckon he must have. Anyways, Hazza, Ronno and Hermo walk through the halls of a now completely destroyed Hogwarts in silence. The place is an absolute mess and there are dead bodies everywhere. Really? Yeah, mate, and it's not just the bloody NPCs and red shirts. Fred Weasley, Lupin, and that Tonks girl we barely got to know in the movies, but I'm sure she was really important in the books. I can't believe they killed Lupin off screen. I know, mate. Criminally underutilised character. Anyways, Hazza makes his way up to Dumbledore's office and he pulls out a vial of Snape's memories. Interesting. This better be good after all those years of building mystery around his character. Well, mate, I think this is one of the few characters they actually do justice to their death in this film. All right, then, hit me. So, Hazza walks into Dumbledore's office and the pensive opens for him, like it's Riley Reid's asshole, waiting for him to film a Brazzers video. Man, you need to talk to a psych or something about your obsession with Riley Reid's anus. Yeah, I did. She said it was above her pay grade. Anyways, Hazza tips the tears in and then plunges his head into Dumbledore's old wet memory hole for the last time. Gross. And get this, we only get Snape'o's entire life story, don't we? Jesus, his whole life story? No, mate, it's just a montage of the highlights. Phew, all right, thank God. So we see his relationship with Hazza's mum Lily, don't we? How Hazza's Aunt Petunia has been a sweaty ever since she was little, and how Snape'o became her best friend and refuge because they both shared magical abilities. Oh, that's kind of cute. Yeah, it is. Although young Snape is super pale. Almost looks like he's had blood cancer since he was a baby or something. Weird. Anyways, as they grow, their friendship only gets stronger. But soon, we see the first big crack, like when that old man showed us his ass down the road. I still have unresolved trauma from that, so get this. Lily is put in Gryffindor, and Snape'o, he's put in Slytherin. Interesting. Yeah, mate, and Snape'o, he's being a moody little bitch that he's not Lily's only friend now, isn't he? That seems a little bit possessive. I thought this was supposed to redeem his character. We're getting to that, so shut the f*** up, c***. All right, fine. Anyways, as they grow older, their friendship drifts apart, and we see the next big crack, even bigger than that one in that old man's ass. Come on, dude, would you just let me bury that memory deep in my subconscious? Well, get this. Seems like Snape'o was right about Hazza's dad. He's a asshole. We see James Potter and the other Marauders bloody picking on Snape, almost like they're begging him to become Hogwarts' next school shooter. That's a dark plot point. I know, right? Then we see bloody Professor Trelawney's prophecy. You know, the one Hazza found in the Ministry of Sound in the 5th movie. Oh, cool. This is good. I'm liking this. And then we cut to Snape begging Dumbledore to help him. And he tells Dumbo about how old mate Leukemia thinks the prophecy refers to Lily and her son. So he's begging Dumbledore to protect them and hide them. Well, then what happens? Well, you know what happens next, mate. Lily and James get gunned down like they're Tupac Shakur. And then Snape-o, he's gutted, isn't he? Because Dumbledore failed to protect them, the one thing he said he would do. No, mate, he feels guilty, doesn't he? Why? Well, in the books, it's because Snape-o used to be a Death Eater, and he was the one who told Leukemia about the prophecy, not realising what would happen to Lily. So, he makes a pledge to Dumbledore to be his servant for life and to try and help take Voldemort down to revenge his one true love. I see, and in the movies? Well, in the movies, we get a series of vague flashbacks that don't really go into any depth and only really make sense if you've read the books. For sake. Anyways, the memories start coming thick and fast now like Danny D's cock, and we see Dumbledore saying to Snape-o that he needs to watch over Harry and keep him safe. I knew Snape-o was good ever since we saw him protect Hazza in that Quidditch game in the first movie. I know, right? Even though he still kind of mentally abuses him for years, he at least keeps him alive. Yeah, actually, that is a pretty thing to do now that you say it like that. I know, right? But then Dumbo pulls a bloody draw 4 and does something much worse to Hazza. Jesus Christ. But we'll get to that soon. Anyways, we see Snape-o and Dumbo working together. And remember how in the Half-Blood Prince, Dumbledore f***ed up his hand trying to strangle one of Voldemort's horse? You mean destroy his Horcrux? Yeah, that's the one. Well, turns out Snape-o stopped Dumbledore from dying from the curse. But the curse is apparently going to kill him within the year. So you mean Dumbledore knew he was going to die already? Exactly. So then he tells Snape-o that he already knows about Voldy's plan to get Malfoy, the one with blonde pubes, to try and bloody kill him. But he says he wants Snape-o to be the one to do it instead. What? Why? Well, because he's going to die anyways, right? So if Snape-o kills Dumbledore, then Voldemort will trust him completely and let his guard down. And then Snape-o can finally help destroy him. That's actually a pretty smart plan from Dumbledore. Usually his ideas are cooked. I know, right? So then we see Snape-o killing Dumbledore again because they really want to get their mileage out of that footage. Kind of like how we always see the same footage of Batman's parents dying and the pearls just hitting the ground. Exactly, mate. Then get this. Snape-o was the one that sent Hazza the bloody Patronus. You know, the one we all knew was a Patronus and the movie wanted us to pretend that we didn't? The one that led Hazza to the sword in the lake. That's right, wanker. Which is why he f***ed over Bellatrix by replacing it with a replica. He wanted to help Hazza destroy the Horcruxes. This is fire. I like this. Yeah, damn right it is. But here's where Dumbledore fumbles the plan completely, like he always does. What's he done now? Well, get this. Turns out when Voldemort tried to kill Hazza as a baby, he left part of his soul inside Hazza. Really? So Hazza is like a weird human Horcrux? Yeah, kind of like a human centipede. It's nothing like that at all, but go on. And this is when Snape-o loses it. He's like,
"You mean after all this time, you're raising the boy like a pig for slaughter? You give him a name, burn a barcode into his flesh, then place a sticker on him that says organically farmed meat while you pump toxic chemicals into him, and then you send him to the gas chambers?"
I think you took that pig for slaughter metaphor a bit too far. Oh yeah, he f***ed it up big time. But he's kind of right, that's a pretty f***ed up thing to do to sentient creatures. Anyways, Hazza pulls his head out of the soaking moist memory hole. Gross. And he's in shock, isn't he? Because he knows now that in order to beat old mate Leukemia, he's got to bloody die. Okay, I've got to admit, I did not see that coming. It's pretty bloody good. J.K. Rowling will surprise you sometimes. Just like she surprised the world with those tweets. Let's just focus on the books for now, huh? Anyways, there's a few plot holes in here, like if Dumbledore already knew about the Horcruxes, why was he so surprised by the diary in the Chamber of Secrets? Yeah, that's true. And I also just breezed past a bunch of other scenes where Snape-o was just crying and wanking over Lily every night. Gross. So what does Hazza do now that he knows he's going to die? Well, Hazza only takes Voldemort up on his offer of a fight, doesn't he? So he walks to meet him alone in the Forbidden Bloody Forest. I mean, that's incredibly stupid, but also kind of badass. It sure is, mate. Anyways, on his way there, he bumps into Hermo and Ronno, and they're like, "Where have you been, Harry? We thought you'd gone to the forest alone like an absolute bellend." "I'm going there now." "You bloody bellend. Don't do that." "I have to, Ron, you ginger-pubed wanker. Don't you get it? The reason I can hear Horcruxes is because I am bloody one. I'm the last Horcrux." "Harry, have you been smoking gillyweed?" "No, I have not been smoking gillyweed. It's the truth, all right?" "Okay, sure you are, Harry. Hey, we're all Horcruxes, aren't we, Hermione?" "I'm not f***ing crazy, I'm being serious. When you say it out loud like that, it does sound kind of crazy, huh? You better believe it does, mate. But they only let him go, don't they? Idiots. I know, right? And Ronno doesn't even hug him or anything. He just kind of stares at him with no goodbye at all. What a massive. Anyways, while he's walking through the forest, Hazza decides to kiss his little snitch one last time, pretending it's Hermione's golden snatch, and you'll never believe this. It only bloody opens up and reveals the resurrection stone, doesn't it? Right, it opens at the close. I get it now. Mate, that's right. You're not as dumb as you look. Hey, anyways, get this. When Hazza holds up the resurrection stone, all of his dead, lost family and friends appear. And Hazza, he's like, why are you here? All of you. We never left. Does that mean you've seen me at night when I... you know?
Oh, every time. You really ought to settle down, son. He's right. You'll pull the damn thing off if you're not careful.
Gross, Sirius?
It's all right, son. Don't worry. I used to do it all the time. Why, Sirius did it 10 times in one day. Guilty.
Can we just get back to the Voldemort situation?
Fine, fine. We'll be with you till the end, Harry. Now hurry up. This video's getting way too long already, and the audience will drop out and kill our retention.
Okay, settle down, Mr. Beast. What a really weird conversation. Yeah, I know, right? But Hazza, he's basically losing his shit at this stage because he knows he's about to die. That makes sense. So get this right. Hazza walks into the clearing where Leukemia and his dick-eaters are waiting. And old mate Voldy, he's getting so impatient because apparently he thought Hazza wouldn't even rock up at all. And then when he finally sees Hazza, he's like,
the boy who lived, come to die. But before we have our little duel, can I offer you some snacks? Are you partial to Maltesers?
Yeah, they're pretty good, but no thank you. I can't eat when I'm anxious.
Boy, you're telling me. This whole raiding Hogwarts business has my stress levels through the roof. I even tried that app Headspace, but it didn't do anything at all. I think it's just full of shit.
Yeah, I think you might be right there.
Anyways, I guess it's time to kill you now. Bye. Havada Kedavra.
And then Voldemort shoots Hazza right in the face like he's John Wick or something. And we cut to white. You mean cut to black, right? Don't be a racist. I mean cut to white, mate. Because Hazza, he's only in bloody heaven now, isn't he? What the f***? Or purgatory. It's pretty unclear. I think J.K. Rowling consulted the writers of Lost on this chapter. Oh man, don't get me started on that. So get this, Hazza is apparently at King's Cross Station, except it's all glowing and empty and white and shit. And to make things even weirder, there's this homunculi fetus thing that looks exactly like Voldemort writhing around on the ground. Okay, what's that about? It's never explained, is it? Anyways, you'll never guess who's waiting for Hazza. I thought we agreed before that we'd done that bit for the last time. Oh yeah, true. Yeah. It's only bloody Dumbledore, isn't it? What? That's right, mate. And he's just as rambling and nonsensical as ever, isn't he? He tells Hazza that he can go back to his body if he wants to, or he can take a train and go elsewhere. So there are trains in heaven. Kind of sounds like hell to me. Yeah, true. Anyways, then Dumbledore pisses off, but right before he does, Hazza's like, stop right there, you impotent old bastard.
Impotent? How dare you? Oh, yeah, I guess that's fair enough.
How am I supposed to beat Voldemort now? He has the bloody Elder Wand, and he has a Horcrux. I'm completely outmatched, just like those women that Conor McGregor beat up and got away with.
Allegedly, Harry. Don't want to get us sued now, do you?
Fine, allegedly. So what do I do?
Well, I used to say that help will always be given at Hogwarts to those who ask for it.
Yes, I remember.
Well, what I mean to say is help will always be given at Hogwarts to those who deserve it.
That makes just as little sense. Yeah, I know, mate. I think he's still somehow smoking chuff, even in the afterlife. Anyways, Hazza, he goes back to his body, doesn't he? But when he does, he's right there surrounded by all the dick-eaters still. So old mate Leukemia has someone go over and check Hazza's body to see if he's actually dead. Oh no, he's f***ed now then, isn't he? Yeah, that's what I thought. But bloody Malfoy's mum is the one to do it. And she asks Hazza with a whisper if her son is still alive. And Hazza, he like subtly nods to her, so she lies straight to Leukemia's face and tells him that Hazza's more dead than Mel Gibson's career. Yeah, he never really made it back into the public's favour after that whole Jew rant, did he? He sure didn't, mate. I think he's making like Passion of the Christ 5 now or something like that. Anyways, everyone just bloody believes her, don't they? So Voldy and the Dick-Eaters march into Hoggies and they make Hagrid carry Hazza's dead body. I mean, I didn't even know they'd captured Hagrid, but sure, why not? Yeah, true, they really brushed past that one. Also, how did Hazza survive the killing curse twice? No idea. I thought it was because he had the resurrection stone, but if you look closely, the pelican drops it right on the ground before he even fights Voldemort. Idiot. So we never get a clear answer. Of course not. Anyways, the Dick-Eaters and Voldy parade into Hoggies like it's bloody Pride Week or something. And everyone in the school comes out gutted when they see that old mate Hazza is dead. Especially Ginny, whose romance I never really bought into, to be honest with you. Yeah, me either. Anyways, Voldemort, he says that he will let anybody live who agrees to join the Dick Eater's army and worship him like he's Kim Jong-un. Shit, that's not good. Does anyone agree? Well, bloody Malfoy bitches out straight away like normal, doesn't he? Of course he does. Why even bother to give him a redemption arc? Now his plot just meant f*** all. But get this, bloody Neville steps up, and then all the Dick Eaters laugh at him because his balls are tucked into his socks. Really? So Neville's gonna switch sides? Nah, mate. He gives a big old bloody speech, doesn't he?
Sure, we lost Harry and that Tonks girl, whoever she was, and a bunch of other characters that you've never really seen me interact with, but that doesn't mean we should give up, should we?
Not a great speech, was it? Nah, it's pretty rough. Anyways, get this. Neville's holding the sorting hat, isn't he? And he pulls out the sword of Godric Gryffindor. And then he says that he's going to cut off Voldemort's bloody nose with it. But he doesn't have a nose. Yeah, he really f***ed up there. Anyways, right as he does that, Hazza jump scares Voldemort and shows everyone that he's not dead. Oh, nice one. Yeah, and then he takes a shot at the bloody snake, doesn't he? But it bloody bounces off. Idiot. He should have known that wouldn't have worked. Yeah, I know. What a total pelican. Anyways, the Dick Eaters start freaking the f*** out, thinking Hazza might be Jesus or something, so the Malfoys and a bunch of others piss right off. So Voldemort's power is finally crumbling. You bloody know it is, mate. More than your mate Jeremy's did when it was left out in the sun on that camping trip we had. Stop bringing that up, man. Anyways, this is it. The final showdown. Again. So Voldemort, he's livid, isn't he? Because Hazza has made him look like an absolute turkey in front of everyone. So him and Hazza start dueling through the school. They're bloody flying through the air, smashing through walls, and at one stage, Voldemort even grows bloody tentacles like he's in a hentai film or something. Do they ever explain how he does that? Oh, of course not. But get this, Rono and Hermo are trying to kill the bloody snake, aren't they? Because they know Hazza can't take out leukemia till the slimy little bastard is dead. Nice. Do they do it? Nah, they f*** it up worse than Elon Musk did when he tanked his public image after he did that Nazi salute and went crazy with a chainsaw. Yeah, that one was not on my bingo card. How's that Tesla driving now, mate? It's still pretty good if I'm honest. Yeah, they are pretty sweet actually, but I'll never buy one because he'll probably just hack the car's computers, so I'm forced to read his tweets just like he did to the algorithm on X. Can we stop talking about Elon Musk, mate, and get back to the bloody story? Oh yeah, true. Anyways, the Dick Eaters are tearing up the castle, aren't they? And bloody Bellatrix has Ginny cornered. And just when it looks like she's about to kill her, like she did to SiriusBlack.com, bloody Molly Weasley jumps in, doesn't she? And you can tell she used to execute people for the state because she guts Bellatrix like a fish. And then the look on her face is absolutely terrifying. Jesus Christ, she's got some trauma to work through, doesn't she? She sure does. Anyways, just when it looks like the snake is about to kill Rono and Hermo and eat them up like a quarter-pounder meal at Macca's, bloody Neville swoops in and chops the thing's head off with Gryffindor's sword. You know, like he's been training with the Taliban or something. Neville is fire in this movie, eh? He sure is, mate. Except for all the Taliban stuff. Anyways, Voldemort is bloody gutted, isn't he? And he gives Hazza his chance to finally strike. He raises up his wand and he produces the biggest Kamehameha you've ever seen. But Voldemort bloody claps back, doesn't he? So, now the two of them have locked energy beams again, just like they did at the end of the fourth movie. True, but Voldemort has the Elder Wand though, right? So Hazza would be Nah, mate, Hazza only bloody kills Voldemort. And then he turns into like weird floating bits of paper? Floating bits of paper? No idea. I think the director thought it would be cool, but it's super anticlimactic. So the Elder Wand was just a big piece of shit then. Well, that's the thing. Leukemia thought that killing Snape would transfer the wand's allegiance to him, like it was a bloody Bitcoin or something. But get this, Snape didn't win the wand from Dumbo, did he? He didn't. Who did? Bloody blonde pubes Malfoy when he disarmed him in the tower. No way, that's sick. Yeah, mate, not a bad twist at all. So now Hazza, he has the Elder Wand, doesn't he? Because he won it from Voldemort. Oh, I bet you he uses the epic power of the Elder Wand and the Deathly Hallows to repair Hogwarts and bring everyone back to life. No, mate, he just snaps it in half and then throws it off a bridge. Idiot. Then we get the final scene and a title card reads, 19 years later. What? Why do we need to cut to 19 years later? Is this a Marvel movie or something? Well, because J.K. Rowling thought it would be a good idea to put the young actors in really poor aging makeup that only really succeeds in making them look a couple of years older at best. Really, that's a weird decision. Why would they not just cast older actors? I know, right? And Rono, he cops it the worst because they give him a full-on beer gut. How is that supposed to make him look any older? Your guess is as good as mine, mate. Anyways, the point of this scene is to show that Hazza and Ginny's son is about to have his first day at Hoggies, isn't he? And apparently he's his little pants because he doesn't want to be put in Slytherin, does he? I mean, that's fair enough, right? McGonagall had them all bloody locked up in the dungeons. Did she even let them out, by the way? Nah, apparently they all starved to death. Anyways, Hazza's like, okay, I hear you, but just shut up and listen for a second, Albus Severus Potter. That's a terrible name. It sure is, mate. Anyways, Hazza reassures him, and then he's like, don't worry, okay? McGonagall went all Order 66 on the Slytherins a while back, so it's not a bad house at all anymore. Well, that's a relief. Besides, the sorting hat takes your choice into account, so if you really want to be a Gryffindor, you can just ask it to put you in there. What a system. What if everyone just picked Gryffindor? I know, right? Anyways, Hazza, he's full of shit because Albus, he gets put in Slytherin in the sequel, The Cursed Child. Really? Yeah, mate, so I guess the viewers will have to leave a comment for the algorithm if they want to see us talk about that one. And they better bloody buy all our merch as well, or I'll sleep with all your mums. You can't just blackmail the viewers into buying our merch, mate. Like hell I can't. Piss off. Video's over.